Welcome back to Take the Blast. I'm Steve. I'm joined by the gang, and today we've got a tier list for every Legends of the Force leader. We have a couple of questions from our community as well that we're going to answer as we go and get to those leaders. So, Henry, why don't we kick it off with our first leader?
Oh, do I get to pick?
You get to pick.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've
And
got.
we'll vote and see what you.
We'll vote to see if we
If I'm
want to
wrong.
do that leader first.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
Okay.
No, where you put it.
Well, we've got so many very cool leaders, all pretty much Force related, which is nice, which you'd expect for the set. And we've got 5 tiers, D to S, S being the best. Why don't we kick it off with one that got a really cool showcase revealed the other day, which is Barriss Offee. It's a cunning villainy leader. It deploys at 6, and she's got, as an action, use the Force, play an event from your hand, and it costs 1 resource less. Which and also she's Force trait, as you'd expect, Jedi trait, which is interesting for a villainy leader, and then Republic trait as well. What do you guys think about Barriss?
This is an interesting one. Yeah, this is a really interesting one. I think it has a lot of potential. Deploying on 6 is kind of slow, I think, but as a 4/7 body, pretty good still. Events, I mean, they can make or break some of these games. We know it, that being able to get some of those events out early, even if it's like sort of, I'm thinking like last couple of rounds, if you can get like a shoot first out for free, like some of those events. Is that an upgrade or an event?
That's an event, yeah.
It is an event,
Yeah.
right? That
And
I think can be crucial.
I think the cunning events as well can be hazardous
Yeah.
at the end
Definitely.
game.
Cunning's got the best of everything, I feel like.
It
Events,
really does.
It
units,
really
upgrades, they're all so good in Cunning.
I was I was just looking, if you pair her with Ventress from Twin Suns. So you can attack with for an action, attack with a unit. If you played an event this phase, it gets +1 for the attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheap event.
It's a good combo. It's a really good combo.
Cheap event, then smack. Yeah, I like it.
I guess it falls into, I think, what a lot of these leaders have as well is using the Force token, which obviously is the new mechanic in this set. And I think as long as there's easy, consistent ways to generate the Force token, which we've seen with some of the bases as well, they let you generate it like on attack and stuff. I think a lot of these abilities are going to be like really good if you can consistently pull them off. Like that combination is crazy. You could play the event for 1 less and then use Ventress's action to then like buff it. Like I think it's a really good combo as long as you can consistently generate Force tokens and keep that action going.
Yeah, I am really curious as to how. Is it hard to generate tokens? Because it seems like so many of these cards rely on it, the new ones. So it's just like it'll be interesting to find out.
I think
definitely.
we've seen a couple of events or even units that are like when you play that card, it also generates the Force. So obviously in Twin Suns you only get one of those, but that's pretty good. So turn 1 you could like even use Barriss's ability to like, you know, play a 1-drop that maybe generates the Force. I can't remember if there is one. Or play an event that generates the Force, and then you could play another event the same turn that like messes up someone else's turn 1 play. I don't know.
Yeah. I think those are the combos that I'm most excited for. And assuming eventually obviously we'll get to a point where hopefully they're printing more of these mechanics in the later sets after they've done a lot of setup. So I think there's a lot of potential. I really like the fact that this isn't just another keyword mechanic, it's like another gameplay mechanic that's actually changing. Really excited for this. I think this leader's pretty good from the outset. I would put it at A.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I wouldn't go S just because of the how many events you're gonna have to put into your deck and
That's
how many
it as well. Yeah.
you're gonna have to generate to get kind of use out of it. She's good. I don't know if she would be a first choice, but
Yeah, that's true actually, because at the end game, if you don't have enough to get your force token over and over, she's useless.
Basically
Like,
useless. Yeah, I mean,
I
because
mean, obviously
when she
she
deploys,
hits for 4, which is really good, and 7 health is great,
Mm.
but like her action isn't great. I mean, there's so many other cards that you can do. You play an event less, which is like what, like Jabba?
yeah,
So
It's-
yeah,
yeah. Do you know?
she's pretty good,
hmm
but until we find out how the force token.
Yeah, I feel like you might have convinced me that it's maybe B tier as like a good starter. Let's hit
B,
middle.
yeah, I
And we
would say
can
middle.
play from there.
I feel
Yeah,
bad
I
about
think
that
you're right.
because I'm just imagining the
Yeah.
scenario where you use her to play triple dark raid, meaning that you can play like something for 6 resources less. So yeah, let's say
Yeah.
it's the end game. You could play a red Devastator and hit everyone's base for 4 indirect damage, and then the Devastator gets the swing like 2 turns
Whoa.
earlier than that
Always-
normally would happen. That's like
Yeah.
one scenario
Always
that she's
planning
great
ahead,
for.
Henry.
But
Yeah,
you know,
that's
I think she's a low A.
yeah, as I
High
say, that's
B.
kind of stuff a bit.
That's only
Can
one
you just
card.
like put it in middle?
Yeah. Let's go B because it felt like you guys were leaning towards B. I think
Well, we
high,
can do
Yeah,
high
middle
B,
ground,
low A.
middle ground.
We'll start
Yeah.
off in the middle.
and then we might move it up depending on how the
yeah,
other leagues
yeah.
fare.
It's rated first.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
we'll allow her to move afterwards.
She's the benchmark.
Yeah.
All right, Alex, why don't you pick the next one for us to talk about?
Okay, I'm gonna go for the one I'm excited for
Ooh,
is the Anakin.
yeah.
Anakin.
I'm already
Yes.
excited to talk about Anakin. What
Yeah.
a cool
it's,
leader. Ah,
Just
Very
the possibility of play all of the because a lot of the dark the villainy cards you can play with it are just devastating in Twin Suns.
mhm.
So yeah, to not pay the yeah, I think I
Yeah.
think I'm looking forward to
Filthy.
Yeah,
I mean,
Really,
it's kind of the perfect thing for you, isn't it? You're such a villain.
outrageous. Well, listen, you could put you could have Anakin with Padme.
I know. I'm not
Not
saying
nice.
there's no possibility of, I'm just
He's got
saying
the Republic
you
as well.
are a
Mm.
villain.
It's I think this leader is going to be very interesting, and as well single aspect leader, one of 2 in
That's
this
true.
set, which I
Yeah,
think is
right. What
Yeah.
are we thinking about that?
For me, it's an obvious downside because you're losing out on an aspect in terms of deck building, but I think that it
Okay.
is kind of outweighed by the fact that he's got such a powerful ability. Like, sure, you lose a general color, but you gain every color that's also black.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, you can
Oh,
play
so it's
you can play a black blue,
You could-
black green, black red, black yellow, and they're all
yeah,
fine.
You see that? Yeah,
It's-
that works.
Just yeah. All of
Events
the-
obviously or upgrades, but still, it's so,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so much. You lose a color, but you open up so many other cards that
So many-
previously
so
And
much
then
more
maybe you
potential.
could do, maybe you could do like a double aspect on the base and the second leader, and maybe you
Yeah.
can get in some really like hard hitters, and because
Yeah.
your units are covered,
Yeah, it's true.
and then you can like
Just go ape with all the events. I mean,
yeah
heroism units typically, from what I remember, they typically have better stat lines,
Mm.
at least in the early game, which means you can use the like improved stat lines of heroism units with cards like Overwhelming Barrage, and you get
Yeah.
even more value, which
Yeah.
is crazy to me. So like you can
There's
make a
some-
huge leader or a huge unit with cards like that, and then just reap the benefits that you previously didn't have access to.
hmm hmm I
it's
think this
great.
is a really good leader.
Mhm.
I think this has a lot of potential. In Twin Suns specifically, I'm very interested to see if it gets utilized in Premiere a lot. I think
I
obviously
think it will.
it's
Yeah.
it's
I think you're going to see some like
extremely
rainbow Anakin
powerful.
decks that are going to be really fun, and
Yeah.
also just so unpredictable because you don't know what kind of Anakin you're going to play against.
it
Because
could
there's
be,
so many
yeah,
cards they could
literally.
have. It could just be
Yeah.
anything.
So many ways to build it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
My
I
only
think
like worry with him is his stat line, but
Yes, 4-6, I think it was.
Yeah, 4-6.
4-6 when deployed.
Deploys at 5, which
Yeah.
actually is, you know, if he deployed at 6, I'd actually say he was probably kind of bad. But deploying at 5 is the saving grace, I think.
Yeah,
So I think he looks good.
yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
I agree.
mean, I think you're getting so much benefit from him just being. You don't have to bring him out. You're getting so much benefit from him.
Yeah, it's true.
from them. Again, we need to generate the force. So
That's true.
we need to see how difficult that's going to be.
Yeah.
I think it will be easier here because you're able to use villainy cards that can, villainy units that can also generate the force. So I think there's definitely potential for that because obviously it would be completely broken if you could just infinitely generate tokens and then play any villainy unit. But yeah, I think
Well, he plays a non-unit, so
non-units.
yeah. But you're right. There
so-
are cards that like help you keep on generating it. Like, is it Drain Essence? I think is a blue-black that generates the force and then deals 2 damage to a unit or something. So like you can use the force to play that, and then you've got your force again.
You got your force again to then play the next overwhelming barrage or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
when you
I
like
think,
deploy him or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
And then obviously, like with the rare bases, it's a lot of them are like, you know, a friendly unit defeats like an enemy unit. You can put your force token on. So it's like if you happen to get lucky around and you've got a lot of units, you know, you might be generating it quite often.
yeah.
I mean, who was it that asked if the force bases were worth it? Boba Fett 11 was wondering what we thought about force bases over normal bases.
I think, yeah, it really does depend on obviously the leaders that you use, but it really seems like a lot of these leaders and units that require the force token have a really good ability. So I think definitely build around it and play around, because I think there's going to be so much more potential to pull off like really interesting and powerful combos using the force token and then regenerating to potentially play it again. I think these bases are going to be really good. For a lot of these leaders and new cards, though, obviously they don't really affect prior leaders that much.
No.
I don't know if you can play new leaders without having a force base. It'd be difficult, and I think the 2 health you're losing is nothing. I mean, we've seen.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen.
For Twin Suns, it doesn't matter, does it? I don't think there's really it doesn't matter how much health you have.
Yeah, it usually sort of equals out.
Yeah.
I
I
agree.
certainly will be using it, and the way I like to play with loads of units, I think it could work.
Yeah.
Fill the board, kill some people, keep generating that token.
Yeah, I agree.
At the end of
That's
the day,
hard.
it's all dependent on the deck you're playing. Like, if you're just playing a deck that only has rebels in it, you don't need it, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you need a bit more context to know, like, okay, I'm playing a lot of force units. If I choose to put a force base in, what will that unlock in my deck building? Will it let me use more of these cards that rely on using the force? Great. So do I want to go that way or not? It's just it just gives you more choice on how you want to play it. I think they're good.
So where is Anakin going?
Good question.
Is it too early to say S?
Yes. Already.
I just think he's so cool. I think he's so
No,
cool.
I agree. I'm all for like aspect penalties going bye-bye.
Yeah,
I'm happy with it.
He's just so good. If he was a 6 deploy, or if he had like 3 attack or 5 health, I'd maybe say A. But the way he's built now, easy S.
It's a good stat line.
I think there's loads of I mean, if you get, there's loads of Republic cards that boost other Republic cards.
Yeah.
So even when he deploys, he's probably going to have more health or more attack.
I like him a lot.
Nice. First S rank. Love it.
Nadia, why don't you pick the next one?
Yeah, go for it, Nadia.
Well, I think I'll pick the one I'm really interested in trying, and I can't wait to try it and see if I can pull it off. Avar Chris.
Oh, nice. Juicy, big unit.
So
huge
interesting.
unit.
Yeah.
And I swear, if the Force token works, I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
a prime
this-
candidate for trying to figure out how much can you generate the Force.
Oh, and she's a
yeah.
Republic.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
Republic.
Yeah.
So that's actually interesting because she's from the High Republic era, but they didn't make a High Republic trait. She's just also called Republic, but they did
Yeah.
make a
Wait.
New Republic trait for
Oh yeah, of
sequels.
course.
So I don't know why. It's interesting that they
Not
decided
gonna
to
be,
do that, but yeah,
Maybe
That
they
is
just
interesting.
couldn't be
higher
bothered.
Republic cards in the future.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, she's really interesting because she's
Yeah,
a leader that can deploy earlier if you play it right. So she can deploy at 9, but you can basically make that cheaper if you use the Force a lot
More
during a
times,
phase.
yeah.
So the more often you use it
during
in
a
a phase,
phase.
yeah, the more you can.
So
The earlier you could deploy her potentially. So
you got to be able
Weird.
to
Yeah.
generate that Force token like consistently.
Yeah. I mean,
Everywhere else, yeah.
if you put in a resupply and is it Spark of Hope?
yeah,
Yeah.
all on aspect already. So that makes
Yeah.
Mhm.
it
So you
works.
start ramping a little bit. You use the
Yeah.
Force a couple of times in a phase. You're getting her out. I mean, granted, that's a lot of cards.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But you could, you could get her out on 6.
Mhm.
It's
I mean,
possible.
it's luck
yeah.
of the draw, really. I mean, of course, it depends how your like deck turns out.
Mm.
But I think, yeah, if you're lucky, you could do that. I think 6 is totally possible.
And I think
But I
And
think
even
she's
it's
just
best case.
massive at 6. I mean,
Yeah.
at 6, we're almost ready to start killing. Imagine
Yeah.
bringing her out.
it is a game ender. But I think also just like her ability before she deploys is still pretty powerful. The fact you can just use an action and generate the Force
Yeah.
token, like
Yeah.
you can almost just use her as utility for other leaders and other cards, like pair her with
Like
Anakin.
with Anakin,
Definitely.
yeah.
And exactly, and
Perfect.
suddenly you've got a brutal combo where you can just play any non-unit villainy card just there because you can just generate the token again. Like, it's, I think, honestly, I think it's just a very good leader. I think this is going to be used quite a lot. I think, especially with how powerful the Force token seems to be. And this guarantees you just be able to, once a turn, get it back. So I think it's a really, really good leader. And then when she deploys, a monster, an absolute monster.
I mean, if she's in a Republic deck and you've got her, I mean, you could have Rex and have clones and they attack and you're making Force tokens with the
Yeah, exactly. I think with
yeah, I think I think the 9 cost is misleading. I think you can get her out earlier.
My only
Agreed.
worry is that
Yeah.
she's signaling to your opponents exactly what your game plan is before they even look
it's
at your
true.
deck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, it's very
It's
obvious
true.
what your opponent's going to try to do. They're going to try and ramp. They're going to
But
try and make
I
the
think-
Force. You know,
Yeah.
But to be fair, isn't Overwhelm kind of like a flashy move anyway? I feel like once you put an Overwhelm card, everyone's like, oh. So I
True.
feel like, isn't that kind of what Overwhelm does?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
For me, I'd just be worried that if I use her as a leader, my strategy is already obvious. Whereas if I'm using any of these other leaders, you might know what I'm going to do, but I could also have like other ways to play them. But with her, it's
Yeah.
like, this is the plan. I'm going to try and use the Force a lot in one phase, probably around 6 resources, so that I can get out this huge unit. You know, and so you guys will be able to instantly strategize to stop that from happening without me
Yeah.
even having to like show you what's in my deck. That's my
Yeah,
only real issue with her, is that she telegraphs a bit too easy.
Almost the same fate as Cunning Boba Fett, where
Yeah.
you know the moment he deploys,
Yeah.
you're probably going to try and get armor on there and other upgrades
Exactly.
to make it harder to kill him.
Yep.
So the moment he deploys, everyone sort of gangs up, and you kind of know what's happening.
I mean, you could play her with set 4. Is it set 4? No, maybe it's set 3. The Obi-Wan. Bring him out as a Sentinel.
That's true.
Mm.
Bring Chewbacca
Yeah.
out as a Sentinel.
I wish
I
she
mean,
was
yeah,
a Sentinel in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, you could pair her with Ahsoka Tano from Twin Sons. Bring her
Yeah.
out, attack. Then she'll swing. She could swing for 9. So it could just be the end of a turn as a surprise if someone got enough. Yes, if someone's ready for the taking, but everyone's kind of doesn't think anyone's strong enough.
Yeah.
Bring her out and give her a +1, and she swings for 9. It's trouble.
Yeah, it's trouble. And I do think, I mean, that overwhelm could potentially become the issue as well. Yeah, I think it's a good leader. I think overall it is a strong leader, even if it is somewhat predictable. I think just her baseline ability to just generate the force is just going to be a really good utility tool to have. I would be pressed to put like A tier. I think purely for the utility.
Yeah, I would put her high, but I do know like Henry's got a point with the whole. You'll be able to tell.
Yeah.
I want to put her high, but
I tell you, because when with the new Boba from the last set, it was always right. Someone's playing a Boba leader. I need to watch out. I need to keep these cards in my hand as soon as he's deployed.
True.
Get rid of him because he's dangerous when he deploys.
That or
And
you
it
know,
might be the
just to
same.
get rid of the vehicles that maybe he would go on, or you know. So it's
Yeah.
it's
Might be the
immediately
same if
obvious.
If I get a rivals full, or if I get a removal card, I'm like,
I'm gonna hold
right,
on to it.
I'm going to hold on to it and wait for this leader to drop. So and she might a drop and then she's out, sort of thing.
Yeah.
True.
yeah.
That signals she's that much of a threat.
Yeah, I would argue that her ability is just inherently more powerful than those other leaders, though, because you can
That's fair.
just do it. Obviously,
True. Yeah.
the red Boba, you need to deal indirect damage, which requires you to have another action, right?
Yeah.
Her action is just generating a force token, so you could hold on to those rival fool card and just get rid of her. But like, if I was playing her, I might be tempted just not even to deploy her unless it was absolutely necessary.
I think you've got a point there, Steve. Like, I think she's got more worth
Yeah.
I've just
without
just
her
thought
epic
about-
action.
I just thought about pairing her with the new Anakin.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that is genuinely
Yeah.
a really nasty combo that we're definitely going to see in one of our games. I think I think an A tier is good, because I would argue S, but I think the point you made, Henry, is very valid. The fact that it is predictable and you're going to hold on to those cards to just get her down as quickly as possible, but her ability, I think, is just too good to be any lower than A.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'd go for
if there was
C,
a pool,
but
I'd put her on the pool. You what,
You were a
sorry?
bit
I'd call it.
sweet.
Yeah, I'd put her as a C.
Really?
Yeah, I really would.
Bad.
Yeah,
All right.
But-
Well, let's just.
but I'll concede if you want to put her at an A. If
B.
you want to put her at an A, I'm happy with that.
I'll settle for B. We'll meet in the
I'll
middle.
settle for B.
We can go A. I
Yeah.
don't mind.
No, B's fine.
Okay.
I'm happy.
All right,
This
you,
is a
we should-
democracy.
you get to do the
I'll
same
put
to
it-
me later on.
Nice.
I say this now. At the end of this set or a couple of months in, we should revisit this and do this again.
Yeah, okay,
Oh, yeah.
that's a good
Absolutely.
idea.
See where it is.
I will tally
Oh,
up
yeah.
how many times Avar Chris has won a game, and if
So,
it's 0, she's going down
yeah.
to C. And if
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
at least 1,
Alright.
Or D.
she can go up to A. How
We'll
about
bet a weekly pack on it.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay. Steve, why don't you pick a next leader?
Yes. Here's a leader that I'm quite interested in playing. Kylo Ren.
Oh,
Yeah.
good shout.
I think
Love it.
I think this could be really fun. Load your deck up with upgrades. Discard
but
them.
I just don't know if Twin Suns it works.
I mean, I feel
true.
like it's a lot harder to do because
Yeah.
cards are obviously a very valuable resource, and the fact you're just binning them from your hand, I think when played right, again, it suffers from the predictable thing, because if people see you discarding lightsabers and other here like shields and stuff like that, you know that's coming. However, I think if you can pull it off, I think you've got a really cool unit. And I like the idea of you're not just playing with the cards you're drawing. It's like you're actively trying to lower your hand size, so you balance between units and upgrades, and then knowing that you're gonna get a big beefy unit at the end.
And
What
also,
that means, gone.
let's face it, beefy units just aren't good. Like maybe
Usually
you're
go
just
down.
discarding just 2 upgrades, and that'll give it just enough of a pump where it's just like you can kill off someone.
Something comes out, and
Yeah.
it could just be enough to get rid of something.
Yeah, you
Or
don't
it could
necessarily
be-
have to discard loads.
True. Yeah, you just discard like 1 lightsaber and just
Yeah,
give
There's a
him.
lot of upgrades.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
If you
Mhm.
did bring him out at the beginning of a turn and you've got 7 resources to play.
loads of
However,
stuff on it.
you do have 2 words, which are power, failure.
That's true.
Yeah, get rid
Yeah.
of every upgrade. I think.
Even worse than that is I've
It's-
seen people cooking up the idea that everyone's gonna sideboard in a Grieved Parliamentarian against Kylo, because when you play him, you get to shuffle their entire discard pile back into their deck.
Right. I see.
So they're just going to sideboard that in case they play any Kylo players and just ruin their entire game.
Yeah,
plan.
I think that would work perfectly. Yeah.
That's hilarious. That is fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely devastating for the Kylo player,
It is.
especially because
Yeah.
you're going to be playing with like 1 less card in your hand every turn.
Well, he does let you
Um,
draw a card if you do discard the upgrade. So you're keeping.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Right.
So you discard a card. If it was an upgrade, draw a card.
Draw a card. Okay, so you are like filtering your hand then.
Yeah.
See, I think
Yeah.
that's. I think that does work a bit better.
You have to play it right.
Mhm.
You can't just
Yeah,
be...
definitely. And I think it also then the thing that I like about it is it puts a lot of onus on the other players to be like, can I check your discard pile to see what you've actually got rid
Mhm.
of? Because obviously you're going to announce that, but you probably won't remember every upgrade that someone's discarding. It also, what's more interesting, I think, is you don't necessarily have to discard an upgrade, right? It's just discard a card.
Yeah, but you're
So-
not getting anything from it.
However, you could play an upgrade on a unit, which might disincentivize someone from attacking that unit, knowing that that upgrade is going to go to your discard pile.
Mhm.
And it could let you then build your deck in such a fashion where there's cards in there which you're not necessarily going to play, which means you've got a free discard, which means you've got a free draw, and then you can play the upgrade on a unit. I think there's a lot of really fun ways to build this. A lot of time, units stay for quite a while sometimes, and I think if you're beefing them up with those upgrades and then they die, knowing that Kylo can deploy and get all of them back, I think is quite powerful.
Yeah, I think pairing wise, I would want to put him with Gar Saxon just to
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
option of like, okay, if I discard the upgrade, it's for Kylo, or if I play the
Yep.
upgrade, it's for Gar. So
Yep.
either way, you're kind of getting a 2-for-1 bang for your buck.
And value.
However
Yep.
many upgrades you put into your deck. I like the idea with Kylo that when he does deploy, you can kind of choose what kind of Kylo he becomes. So
Mhm.
like, you can assess the scenario in front of you and say, okay, everyone else does have some beefy units, so I'm going to put the upgrade on Kylo that makes him a Sentinel, just to give me some breathing room. Or you're like, you know what, I can go for the kill here, so I'm going to put all the aggressive types of upgrades on him.
Mhm.
So the moment you flip him is kind of that build your perfect Kylo for that scenario. It's like, if you could choose
Yeah.
to play the perfect unit that would answer that question at that time, you'd love to be able to do that. So
Yeah.
it's great that Kylo does let you do that. I think
there
his
any,
base stats are interesting, 5/5 for 7. So let's say if you have been getting hammered and you can't really upgrade him much, he's really average. And he has no other effect. So like when he's deployed,
That's
he's
it, yeah.
deployed. So it's kind of a big flash moment, but I think he's fun to build around, definitely.
Yeah,
Is
I
there
agree.
any- Are there any upgrades that give you like Saboteur?
Yeah, there is.
So you could give him Saboteur, you could give him Restore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
you can give
yeah,
him
them all of it. like,
Even
yeah,
if
all
it's-
of it. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there's so many fun things you can do with it that
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had that sort of ability before. So
No.
I think it's a good. I don't think it's the best leader. I think it's a fun leader.
Fun.
Yeah,
Fun is the word.
it is again quite predictable with knowing what upgrades people are discarding. You're gonna know, okay, Kylo's doing this, but kind of like you said, Henry, you don't have to play them all. You could choose it for the
No.
right moment and just maybe play upgrades that just give him loads of
I mean,
health, and suddenly it's a lot harder to get rid of.
you could put. I mean, if you're worried about when you bring him out and being a target, I mean, snapshot reflexes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bang.
So
What are you gonna do about that? Nothing.
Yeah,
It's-
you could. I mean, you could buff him up to just be an absolute monster.
And then just hit.
Give him saboteur, restore, snapshot
Yep.
reflex.
Is there a overwhelm upgrade?
I mean,
Ooh.
you could swing a game. Yeah, there is. Oh no, that's a token one.
I don't think
Overwhelm
so.
upgrade.
Overwhelm.
No,
upgrade.
Grievous's bike wheel gives it overwhelm.
Yeah.
So a hilarious image. It's just
So you, I mean,
Smash through that.
he could just swing a game in one.
Yeah.
yeah.
He could swing a game.
How often have we
I'm
played
not-
games that are like, okay, we're on resource 7 and no one's close enough because people have got like 10 health
Okay,
remaining,
yeah.
Mm.
and you're like, pff, bang, one unit that everyone else has claimed.
Yeah, like you just okay. He just needs these two,
Yeah.
and I
Mm-hmm.
can kill.
Give him restore. You get
Yeah,
7 health
Yeah.
probably because you'll get 5 from killing someone, the extra 2 from restore, whatever it's going to be. Like, yeah, there's some really
It's
really cool
fun.
combos to pull off. Yeah, I think it does mean that you might have a unit light deck because you're probably going to want to front load loads of upgrades in there, which I think could be an issue.
Mm.
yeah.
But maybe, I mean, pairing him with anything that can generate some sort of token unit, maybe the Green Vader. If you put a couple vehicles in there and you can attack and generate TIE fighters, you've got stuff to hit. I think
Or
there's a lot of fun stuff there.
or you like just put in low cost units, and then you can just play upgrades on it, like you said, Steve.
Yeah.
And then you play it as normal. You kill people, they die.
Mhm.
It goes in your discard pile, and you're like, yeah,
Bring it back. That's good for me.
It's
coming
Either
back
way.
later.
one stone.
Mm-hmm.
I think if
Yeah.
the one thing that would make me think he'd be unplayable was if his action was like use the force, but the fact it's a free
Yeah.
action, and also the fact that you don't have to pay a resource, I think
You can just do it.
he's good. He's good. He's not amazing. He's not Anakin. I think
Mhm.
he's slightly better than Avar Chris, but not as good as
Yeah.
Varys.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
fair. I think I would be happy to go between the two in B.
Mm.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think once we've played with him a few times,
You might move around.
I could see him as an A.
Mm.
Really.
I actually
Just
think he's an A.
You know why? Just because. It's tricky, but just his end game.
End game
Yeah.
potential is huge.
It's because,
He's
like-
a closer.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean,
he's
you could
a
play-
closer in many ways, right? He could be the closer that kills a base, or he could be the closer that becomes a sentinel and just keeps you safe.
Oh, yeah, and do you know what? Saboteur, I think, is so powerful because those last rounds, when someone's got a good sentinel up, that could change the game. The fact you could have like a big Chewie out and just bring out Kylo and just hit through, like, it doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, there's. Jeez. I mean, there's some that allow you to give you raid 2. There's some that let you
Yeah, that's
exhaust
true.
you. Imagine swinging, you restore, you exhaust a massive enemy unit.
Mm,
You're dealing massive damage. I mean, yeah. Oh,
pretty
there.
good.
I mean, on top of things, attached unit can't be attacked this phase.
Yeah.
There's some.
There's also like
Yeah.
his own lightsaber, which is protects him from being exhausted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
I
You
mean,
know what? I
hilarious.
think he's got huge potential.
So even if you don't get
Yeah.
the snapshot reflex with him, if you put his lightsaber on him, the only way you're going to beat him is by some other kind of removal or like give in to your anger. You know, something that forces him to attack.
Shadowed
I don't know.
intentions. Attached unit. This unit can't be captured, defeated, or returned to its owner's hand by enemy card abilities.
Yeah, I mean,
Free cost, and it gives 0/0. But it's if you haven't got snapshot
Bit of
reflexes,
Yeah.
I mean, that is almost like a perfect card for that, right? Just stopping anyone from doing anything about it, knowing that it's going to swing with whatever other upgrades you've got. And you can guarantee, like, as long as you draw that, you can guarantee that's going in your discard pile. So,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, you might have convinced me it could be A tier. I think.
I mean, it could be B, and then once we've played with it, we find out that
Sounds like you guys want
it's
to put him
not
at A.
little.
Let's go with A.
Huh?
Let's go with A.
Let's
Yeah.
go A.
Let's go with A. I think it's gonna be
Nice.
interesting to revisit, like you said.
Yeah.
It just
Wrong
sounds so
with
fun.
Every one of them.
Sounds
Yeah,
so
it's
fun.
either going to be a game winner or just an
Or you're
oddity.
never going to deploy him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he gets deployed, if you haven't got snapshot reflexes, and everyone just goes to town on him.
True.
Keeps power failure, keeps confiscate, just keeps all of the things that
Everything to get rid of it. Yeah.
just unplayable. He's useless. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. It's pretty good.
Henry.
Henry.
Why don't we go with his best friend, Ray?
Nice.
So Ray is a 7 drop, and I think she's a 6/8.
Yep.
As an action, if
Yep.
you played a non-unit force card this phase, deal 1 damage to a unit, and then when she deploys, it's like you can draw 2 cards if you discard your
Yeah.
hand.
Discard your hand if you do draw 2
Depends how many
cards.
cards you've got in hand, I guess.
Yeah. I
Does.
think
Yeah.
If you got 1 card in your hand, it would make sense. But
if it's like end game, I guess, and you're like,
It's-
okay, the
it's
cards in my
likely.
hand aren't working, sort of cycle them. It's an interesting one.
It's a big
Oh,
gamble.
Not sure.
Order
Yeah.
of well, could give her a 2/2.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I'm not totally convinced by her ability.
Mm.
Yeah.
Seems
Mhm.
a bit. It's good
I
for
mean-
ping and shields, and you know
Yeah.
at least you
Yeah.
get to choose where the damage goes as the controller of Ray. But it's so restrictive.
how
Yeah.
often
I mean-
have you used Mace Windu as a leader?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not so often. I think this one's a bit harder as well because you have to make sure you're playing a non-unit force card, which
It
means
just
you're
Yeah.
you're forced to play that card regardless of if it's good or bad, and then you can do 1 damage, and I don't know if that's necessarily worth it for 1 ping damage when
Yeah.
you have leaders like a Cad Bane that you can just play a good underworld card and get a ping damage off, or even Vader and like choose where you put that ping damage. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm convinced with this leader yet.
The stat line's good when she does deploy. I think she's maybe the best 7 drop leader.
Yeah.
Like a 6/8 is crazy for 7. Normally it's like,
Mm.
I mean, what's Vader? He's a 5/8, I think. And
I think you're right.
who else is there? Dooku is a 5/9. So the fact she's a 6/8, that's pretty good. But
Pretty good.
at that point,
Yeah.
it's a bit late, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
It's really like
I
you're
guess you
just
don't- yeah.
praying that whatever you draw, if you decide to do her deployability, helps you in that
Yeah,
moment.
in some
It's a-
way.
It's a bit last
And-
gasp.
yeah, I don't know because you're gonna have to, I'd assume, save all your resources on that turn. So
Yeah.
you're probably not playing anything before that. So it again falls into that sort of predictable, like, okay, this person's not playing any units, they've got all their resources, and Ray's gonna deploy. They're probably gonna cycle their hand and hope that they get something good.
The only thing would be if pairing her with like a leader. Is there like a heroism leader that kind of is based off of events, like playing events or non-unit kind of things? I mean, that's the only thing that
No.
would work, because then it would make her ability worth it.
A bit more useful, but then going too big on events and not units, I think could be quite
Yeah.
detrimental. So, assuming that, like in our games, you're probably only gonna play 2, 3, maybe 4 events the
Yeah,
whole game
that's
for
true.
the sake of 4 ping damage across a couple of rounds. I don't think this is going to be a very useful leader to play consistently.
It's really
Imagine
weird how
doing
it
a
forces
deck
you to do
that's-
it, like as a control style.
Mm,
Like it's basically asking you to play force upgrades or force events,
Yeah.
which is really control, but she's red.
mm,
So like, and her effect, dealing 1 damage to a unit, isn't very control. It's burn. So it's
Yeah.
like, we want you to play burn in an aggro deck, but you have to play it control. It's just too much confusing stuff all at once.
yeah.
Doesn't synergize at all. I think her
Yeah.
card is not the best design.
No, I think I tend to agree with that. I mean, I would be tempted to just put her in the D tier. I don't think I just
Yeah,
don't
Ray
see a lot of value
Doesn't
in
do
that.
well.
No, and I think it is a good stat line, but usually by 7 resources, like the board state asks for more than just a 6/8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jordan
she'll get
Tickle.
exhausted or
Some
just
sweetener.
it's too
Yeah.
easy to deal with her. She's got nothing else
Yeah.
going for her once she deploys. Yeah.
Pretty much, and you're just hoping that maybe the 2 cards you draw could do something better. But at that point, I don't know if it's worth it.
Nah.
Yeah, D for me.
Yeah. I'll make a deck with her just to see, but
We'll
because maybe
see,
there's a
yeah.
bunch of because I know
We got to make sure we try all of them so
Yeah.
that we can now
Yeah.
come back and be like,
in the past
We
there
were
weren't
wrong.
many Force events, but obviously now there are going to be a lot of Force events. So
Yeah.
maybe they're really good. Maybe some of them, like I can't remember all of them off by heart. They've all been revealed now, but maybe some of them are very good at doing a control thing and also manage to get you units on the board.
yeah. Also, that's the thing of some events where it's just like play a thing for less. Maybe it's doing stuff
Yeah.
like that and then using her. It's not totally impossible. It's just baffling.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most leaders, or a couple of leaders that have discard in their hand is Premier.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
yeah, you've only got one of each. It's difficult to discard, not
Yeah.
knowing what you're drawing.
Yeah, like the best
dunno.
card Ray can use is Force Throw, and in Twin Suns you get to use that once.
Yeah,
Is it
Then
worth it?
then it's gone.
Yeah.
yeah.
Alex?
Yeah, I think it was me. I'm gonna go for one that we actually have a question about as well,
Ooh.
and that is Kit Fisto.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, Kit. I'm super intrigued because I really want to do a Jedi heavy
Mhm.
Twin Suns now that there's way more. And I
Yeah.
actually checked, there's 59 Jedi units.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
So I feel like it's pretty doable, Kit
Yeah.
Fisto.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good number. Yeah.
there's a lot of lower cost ones being
Mm.
introduced this set because there is the trouble of, I think the question, I'm gonna butcher this guy's name. Someone else might have to pronounce
Do
it.
you want me to say it?
Yeah, I don't butcher the name.
It is
Oh no,
the Walking Drews.
that's the one.
At the Walking Drews asks,
Drews. Yeah, I think with the lower cost lower cost Jedis, I think you could maybe if you're playing with an Obi-Wan as well, so you've got a Sentinel.
Yeah.
I
And
think
just
I
healing
think
your
you could.
units. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could get him out. I mean, there's not a lot of impact. I mean, he comes out and you might have 4 Jedis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I think, so he's still pretty weak.
it's a tough
Yeah.
one, right? Because I think, like the Walking Drews mentions, is there's a lot of room for lower and higher cost Jedis that can do a lot. I think the issue that we'll run into is we probably won't see Jedi tokens, which is a shame because that would work really well in a deck
Yes,
like this,
that would.
where if you could just generate like a couple of Jedi tokens, you know you're going to get a couple of extra damage. I think you won't be able to flood the board that much with Jedi units because, again, it falls into that predictability of, oh, this person's playing Kit Fisto. If they play lower end Jedis, more incentive to kill them, knowing that whenever Kit Fisto deploys, he's going to be a lot weaker. I think if you can get into a position where, yeah, you can set up an Obi-Wan with a Sentinel and then have some lower cost Jedi units around, you're in a really good place. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get a lot of worth from Kit Fisto. It does depend on the next sets and if there's more Jedi units being introduced. I think the Jedi tokens is kind of the way to solve this leader to make him a bit stronger. But apart from that, having, what was it, 59 Jedi units so far, I think that's a really
That's
good number.
good.
I think
More than I
That's a
you
good
thought.
number.
you could build a solid deck with that and then have other
Obviously.
upgrades and stuff around it.
Obviously, you
Yeah.
won't be able to use all of them because of
Yeah.
aspects and stuff. But 59's a good basis, and obviously you're not gonna want all Jedi because you're pretty much putting yourself in a hole. You're gonna want to like widespread it, put some Sentinels, you know, just like really.
Yeah, and he's Republic again, so there are cards that buff Republic.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, he could. Yeah.
I think his problem is there's a couple issues. One, you have to pay for his action. So after turn 1, you're going to start playing behind curve if you want to do his ping. It's a good ping though. 2 damage is better than most get to do. So in theory, once you start doing that, you can maybe start trading up. So you can use lower cost units to kill people's better units, or you could 2 for 1. You could go attack that unit over there and then ping damage on someone else. The problem with doing that though is by the time you deploy him, you'll have killed your own Jedi in that strategy. So it's and so he'll deploy and he'll be a 1/6 or a 2/6, which isn't great. So if anything, I think strategically you'll probably want to deploy Kit Fisto later than his 5-drop, just so you can try and flood the board again. But why wouldn't you just play someone else maybe? Because compare him to Anakin. Anakin comes out and he's a 4/6 guaranteed. Kit's a 1/6, maybe a 2.
Yeah, and people know to try to get rid of those Jedi units as well because they don't want him being buffed up. I think there's maybe room to play him with Luke and potentially just start shielding up your units. But again, you're paying a lot to do that, and playing behind curve, I think, will be quite difficult.
Where do we put him in? C or D?
C.
I think C.
I don't think we should give up on him.
No, and he's got more than Rey does, I think.
Yeah, and that 2 ping isn't something to like snuff your nose at.
No, goes well with like Mace Windu, for example.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3.
Because Mace Windu can do quite a lot when he deploys, but I feel like on his own he's a bit. It's hard for Mace Windu to get his own stuff working. In pairing him with Kit Fisto, I think that can work. I think the thing is, it being locked to Jedi isn't a problem because Jedi will be some of the best units in the game. So if you're telling me, if you want to use this leader, you have to build a Jedi deck, I'm going to be like, okay, I was going to do that anyway. So that's not, that's just like an upshot for me, I suppose, is that not only. Yeah, go ahead.
Go on. No, I was just going to say, bearing in mind with all the newer Jedis, like, they're going to have a lot more going on with them, with the Force, and all those different kind of dynamics going on.
What he might benefit from is a lot of hidden as well. You got hidden Jedi. That could be quite big for him, I suppose, because then you can guarantee that you will be able to attack next phase with that Jedi and do the ping.
Yeah. If you can drop like 2 hidden Jedi units and then deploy them on that turn, guaranteed 3 there, and potentially more if you can buff up Republic units or Jedi units. I think there is room there. I think
Grogu's hidden, isn't he?
And
Grogu's a great unit in himself. I don't think he's Jedi actually, though. Now that I think about it,
no, he's
just
Force.
Never mind.
Maybe they'll release a Jedi Grogu. We'll see.
He has to become a Jedi first.
Have to wait for the movie.
Yeah, can't jump ahead. Right. I think C as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
He seems easier to build than Rey, that's for sure. So.
Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely.
Nice.
So let's go for my favorite old-time Star Wars, but not necessarily favorite leader, Cal Kestis.
Yeah, there he is.
There he is.
The little
there he is.
His showcase came out today. He looks like he just went to the dentist. Like, why? They can't butcher him.
Well,
I kind of like it anyway. BD1 looks good on it.
Anyway.
Yeah,
BD1 does look good.
I still want it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But yes, Cal Kestis. So
4-drop.
What does he do?
He comes out early.
So drops at 4. And as an action, use the Force. An opponent chooses a ready unit they control. Exhaust that unit. And then when he's deployed on attack, an opponent chooses. It's basically the same.
Yeah.
So, what do we think?
Great ability.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great ability.
Agreed.
Really good.
I think again, pairing this with the leader that can generate a force token.
But this is so I've already kind of made up a little list of the new leaders and being like,
Yeah.
who would I pair them with if
Yeah.
I just used? And I thought of Avar and him. He's just the 3/4. It's
Yeah.
shocking.
Bad.
Yeah.
Bad stats.
It's so low. Oh, it breaks my heart.
Again, maybe a good leader that is better not deployed necessarily. Like
Yeah.
the fact you could exhaust a ready unit is quite powerful.
Yeah.
And if you can guarantee you can replenish your force token, then that's you've got a Grogu waiting that can't be stopped. Like it's inherently a good ability to have. And I think the fact you can also then use the force token on like another unit that maybe can use a force token to do something, and then use Avar's ability to generate it, and then use Cal to exhaust a ready unit. I think it's quite powerful. I mean,
Yeah.
you can exhaust someone's leader if they deploy it. Like if you leave him,
they have to choose.
undeployed.
Don't they? That's the only problem.
yeah.
The
And
only
I-
thing that could have improved his ability is letting you choose, but
yeah,
Yeah,
I
that would
think
have been maybe too powerful.
probably too powerful. I think
Yeah, but if it was endgame, let's say
Yeah.
you didn't deploy him early, you waited
Mhm.
till the end.
Mm.
In certain scenarios, it could work.
Oh, 100%.
It's like eventually you're gonna deploy him, even
Yeah.
though he's only a 3/4.
yeah. There are a lot of
And
times
it's the same
when-
with Avar.
Yeah, we wait till kind of everything's done before deploying some leaders sometimes, and I think that's where
Yeah.
it gets dangerous, because you have to deploy them earlier, knowing that someone might be able to do something about that as well. So you're no longer safe waiting for the last minute to get your leader out, knowing that Cal could just exhaust it.
Yeah.
As in, if it's your only
Yeah.
active.
I mean, he might struggle against token generated leaders.
yeah,
True. Yeah.
going
Yeah.
wide will be a problem for him because you'll just
Yeah.
choose the most suboptimal one to exhaust and
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
smacking with your big boys.
Yeah.
But-
True.
Maybe that's why you pair him up with someone that can keep those decks in check, like Quinlan
hmm
or
Yeah.
Mace, or even Ray.
Being able to ping damage.
Yeah, even Ray. Why not?
Yeah. Maybe.
Nah.
Yeah, who knows?
It could work.
Who knows?
I don't lump him with Ray, D-Ray.
I don't know if Ray's.
He's got a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Maybe the two Ray leaders.
I know that's
Actually, the most useless.
They could work.
so...
I think the Blu-ray is actually really good.
Actually, yeah, the
It's quite
Blu-ray is
Not
okay.
terrible.
Yeah, she's
Not
really
terrible.
good. The Red Ray's not good. Cal, I think, is great up until you look at the stats.
Yeah.
It's the health mainly for me. The health is
Yeah.
an issue. That's
Yeah.
way
You know,
too
It's
low.
a Sabine
But
Wren kind of situation where it's gonna get one hit.
Worse.
Like,
It's even worse than
Yeah,
Sabine.
worse. It's worse. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like
'cause
you can
Sabine's...
kill it with open fire. That's
Oh,
bad.
yeah, truly. It's not. Yeah, it's not ideal. I
No.
think it really does let it down.
Yeah, I would.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it. I mean, Force and Fringe are.
Yeah, Fringe
the
is
keywords
an
are
interesting
yeah,
trait.
the traits aren't great, are they? There is a
Yeah.
unit, I can't remember what it is. That's a new unit that has it does something with Fringe.
Is it
Um,
the BD1 unit?
No,
I
the
don't know.
BD1 does give something else Saboteur and +1 though.
Oh, okay.
So it's obviously meant for
Is it an
Cal.
upgrade?
No, he's just a unit. So when he's in
Oh,
play,
that would have been so cute. If
yeah, I know. You could like ride him.
Because he is an upgrade. He basically
Basically is.
upgrades Cal.
Yeah, he's like, I think he's a 1/3, and he gives while he's in play, he gives another unit +1 and Saboteur. So it makes Cal
Oh,
4/4.
No, that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
But first off, Cal has to survive for you
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
play BD1, and then Cal has to survive for you to then swing with him. And also
Yeah.
BD1 now has to survive, and it's like it's a lot of maintenance to
It's
the two
yeah.
little
BD
guys.
should be an upgrade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just lump them together.
maybe there will
If
be
they
a BD1
die, they
upgrade
go
in the
down
future.
together.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like you said, Henry, this is the Fallen Order version of Cal. He's still like finding
Still
his
young.
feet. like a little Bambi,
Yeah.
swaddling around. So
Yeah, I fully expect the
They
Jedi
clearly-
Survivor version to be like ultra ripped,
oh yeah, like
huge
really,
unit, like 7, 8 or something like that.
because he's
With a
a
gun.
force to be reckoned with
Yeah.
in Survivor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like him a lot. I think I'm excited to build decks with him, but
Mm.
I
I
am too.
do worry about the stats, and so he's probably someone I would deploy later, just because I'd be too worried about him getting easily traded into or removal.
Yeah. Agreed.
But at least, like you said, the ability is great all the time.
It is.
So
At least it's
not the
a
worst
1
thing
out
if he
of
gets
2.
defeated.
Whereas Ray has
Mhm.
0 out of 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
I want to put him at like a low B.
Yeah.
Yeah,
see.
I understand that.
I think that's fair. I think there is utility there from his ability, and I think as long as you can generate that force token, like just exhausting a unit is still powerful, regardless of
It
if it's
is.
just one attack. Like one attack can make or change the game. So I think that's for me is good enough to put him as like a low B tier.
Mhm.
And then I think his stat lines is the harshest part.
Yeah, I was leaning C, but I'll go B.
I think the
Just
thing
put him
that
on
brings
C.
him up is the fact
Ah,
of cunning.
but- Yeah, stick him in
Cunning.
B.
Cunning helps a lot.
Cunning, there's so many good cards, especially Cunning Heroism. You get Bamboozles, you get like Millennium
Yep.
Falcons. You've got so many other ways to play great units and get
Mhm.
good bounce, waylays, everything. So that's why he's a B for me, but just about.
Yeah, yeah.
No, put him B. Do him right.
Yeah.
He's a B. He's an A in my book.
I can't wait to revisit this after this set. Shall we go for Darth Revan?
Yes. Great show.
Now we got a couple questions from the community
Ooh.
with Revan. The question here from nobody12340 says, "Is Revan worth putting in a deck? Because he only has one aspect. I want to have him in my collection, but I want to know if he's worth it, and what the heck is a force token?"
Yeah, we talked a lot about the Force token already.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about it, like why it exists now. So maybe we should cover that first. But it's basically a new mechanic introduced in Set 5. And it's a token that you can generate through gameplay mechanics. So one thing we didn't mention is that all of the common bases this set are 28 health bases, and they have the text, when you attack with a force unit, generate your force token, or it says like the force is with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is
Or
like
something to
a
that
nice
effect.
flavor for it. Yeah.
There are some others. When the regroup phase starts, if you control a unit with 4 or more remaining HP, the force is with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can only have
Okay.
one, right?
You only ever have one. You either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you use it kind of like resources in a way when you're asked to. So you can see a lot of these leaders say action, use the force. And so in order to use that action, you need to have your force token generated. Otherwise it's not available to you. So that's what the force token's about. It's just a new mechanic that lets you tap into the more mystical gameplay mechanics that they're introducing with this set. So anything that has used the force is probably a very powerful effect, hence why they
Yeah,
add this
it really
extra
is.
restriction for you to have to do it.
Yep.
So that's where it comes from.
Yep.
It's a fun mechanic.
Great explanation.
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see
I
whether or
think
not
it's
it
a-
takes off, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's a really fun way to add more depth to the game, and I think it's fun just managing an extra resource that you can choose to generate or use sort of whenever. Yeah, really cool mechanic. Excited to use it. In terms of being a one aspect leader, again, we talked a little bit about it with Anakin. I think there is potential in it.
Yeah.
I think there is obviously the main downside is you lose a whole aspect, which can be quite detrimental. But I actually think Revan's ability's still pretty useful as it is.
Yeah, it's still
Um,
good.
He reads,
Yeah.
when a friendly unit attacks and defeats a unit, you may exhaust this leader. If you do, give an experience token to that friendly unit. So it essentially encourages you to just start beating down units early on and upgrading those units because of that, as long as they survive.
Yep.
I think that's pretty powerful. One of the other questions we got actually is from James Knight 9086. Is Revan a strong enough leader to lose out on an aspect color? I'm going to make a Sith deck with him and Darth Maul, but I can't help feeling I'm crippling myself a little. Now, if you mean the Darth Maul from this set, let me just pull up this card here. I think it might be quite difficult to do because you're doing 1 damage to a unit and then a different unit. It might work if you're weakening them, so then your unit can survive to then upgrade. However, if it's the other Darth Maul, which gives Overwhelm, I think there's a bit more synergy in there, knowing that you could potentially do some extra base damage. So I think there is room there. I think he's definitely a good leader to try out. The experience is going to be useful. Again, you could probably pair him with something like Gar Saxon and, get a little bit extra out of it.
Or even
Kira would be good as well.
Kira's good.
Yeah.
Even Krennic, because the fact that your units are attacking other units mean that your units are going to be damaged now. So
yeah,
absolutely. Putting some grit units in there.
Yeah,
yeah. I like him a lot for like ambushing, overwhelming, and I imagine I need to check like what they do, but because Darth Revan is the first Legends material, so non-canon leader, there's obviously a lot of other Legends material cards that will probably synergize with him because they're trying to keep it thematic at FFG. So cards like Darth Malak and HK-47, those will probably synergize well with Darth Revan just purely because they will come in under that Knights of the Old Republic bucket. So I think there'll be a lot of, I think he's probably not so much a Twin Suns leader, but maybe more of a Premier leader or a Sea Org leader.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Just because
I don't think I think it is a little bit long-winded with him, although he does have Restore 1, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
he's a 5/3/6 with Restore 1 when he deploys, which I think is a pretty good stat line.
It's like the same as Rey, basically. But Rey's Restore 2 or something, or 3 maybe.
I think a bit more. But even just like Restore is very powerful in Twin Suns, so even having that is pretty good. Whether or not it's worth losing that aspect for it, not sure.
Not in the same way as Anakin for me. Anakin loses it, but also gains it big time.
Yeah.
Whereas Revan loses it, and it's like you have one strategy, which is to trade units.
I'm not convinced with Revan. I'm not convinced it's actually worth it.
Yeah.
For Twin Suns.
Not for Twin Suns.
That is.
I think it is difficult trying to build a deck specifically around just going for units. I think, obviously, I feel like the best combination you could probably get is with Darth Maul, where you can get Overwhelm on a unit.
Yeah.
Just because you're getting that extra value of killing a unit and then doing damage to base. Specifically going just for units, I think is going to end very badly for that person because their units are going to be weaker. And if someone has ping damage, those units are just going to die.
Yeah.
They do get the experience, which helps, but is it enough? I don't know. I really don't know.
So where will we put Tim? I think C.
I like him.
Yeah, you like him? Tell us why you like him.
It's difficult because you could bring out a decent unit, and in the effort of trying to raise him up, he ends up dying. I just him with a Tarkin.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's ways of like with Akira where you bring out a unit with grit, give it a shield, it attacks. The only problem is are you going to end up with units that hit for 10 but I've got 2 health?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a problem at all, actually.
No,
it's kind of like a war juggernaut.
Yeah,
you're gonna have beefy units.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's a war juggernaut. It's just gonna get rid of it. Exhaust it, like Steve kept doing with mine.
Wait till I play Cal.
You're
gonna have to choose to exhaust it.
The new Grand Inquisitor would be quite good with it.
Yeah, that's true.
Use the force attack with a friendly unit. The defender gets -2/-0.
Yeah.
So you're
I
attacking
think-
him.
Yeah, they
You're
work well
not
together.
taking a lot of damage.
Yeah.
You're not. You know, there's some units you can attack. I mean, if someone wants to play clones or droids, you're attacking.
Yeah.
You're taking no
They're just
damage.
fodder
Yeah,
for
just
you.
great against tokens. Yeah, you're gonna be able to just knock them down and probably
Yeah.
won't die from it.
I don't think he's amazing. I don't think he's, especially even when he comes out, he's
Yeah.
he's restore 136.
He does have his lightsabers, which is pretty nice.
Yeah,
And
I
they
like
look
him.
Pretty sick.
I like him.
But
Yeah,
Um,
All right, so where are we putting him?
because I think he's just cool as fuck because he's Knights of the Old Republic. I'd want to put him at
Yeah.
least at a C, but maybe not
Yeah.
as good as Kit Fisto, or maybe just I don't know.
I'll
He's
see.
around Kit Fisto. See,
Yeah,
maybe above
I-
him.
I'm gonna go on record and say I'll agree with it, but
You want
when
to
we,
put him
revisit,
higher?
when we revisit it,
Yeah.
I would like him to be a B.
Ooh.
interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, well,
High
let's put him
B.
at a C. Let's put him at a C,
High
and
B.
then
A high B.
when we're
High
when we're
B.
proven wrong,
We
When they
could,
use it.
like
we
you
could
can
split the
rub-
middle. We could say a low B.
Low
No,
B.
no, you can go C. Go, if 3 people have said C, so we'll go C,
Okay.
and we'll kick this.
I can't wait to get
Alex will
destroyed
remember
by
this.
Alex's Darth Revan deck.
Yeah,
probably.
for real. For real.
well, since we just started talking about it, let's go to Grand Inquisitor then.
Let's
Yeah,
do it.
I don't like him. that's, no, I'm not
Well,
convinced.
quick, done.
Yeah, I don't like him. I just
Me too.
think
Um,
it's
So
just
use the Force, attack with a friendly unit, defender gets -2. I'm not a huge fan of like giving defenders minus. It just feels.
later
isn't it
in the
just
game
like
it isn't as good because stuff
Jin?
happened better. You
Isn't it
know,
like Jin?
Yeah, yeah.
Jin-
Extra steps.
Jin was useful for about 2 turns, and then it didn't matter anymore
Everything's
because
too
everything's got
powerful.
more than 2 power. So
Yeah.
he fizzles out really early in the game for me, which
Mm.
I think if you want to make a good deck with Grand Inquisitor, you need to make a really fast deck
Mm.
that can close out the
Against 3
game.
people, it'd be cool to have
Yeah.
a fast.
No, it's not because
Yeah,
it's too-
Premier, yeah,
Premier, yes,
yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
but
Right.
you're
Yeah,
right.
and his stats are pants as well. It's just
Yeah.
5/3/5 comes in shielded on attack. Defender gets -2 for this attack.
so once that shield's gone, it's just like
It's kind of tough. I think.
Cunning is
Yeah.
doing the heavy lifting here for me.
Yeah, I think there are some potentially good combos you could do. Again, a couple of fun upgrades you could probably put on him. Yeah, it is just like you say. The further you get into the game, the less that -2 means because you're still going to be taking a considerable amount of damage after that. Sure, you might be able to wipe out some like token units or some lesser units, but you know, you're probably going to want to just swing for base in those turns. And
There's better uses of the false token, like maybe at that
Yeah.
stage as well.
yeah, I think unless you can easily generate the false tokens, then yeah, it's going to be quite difficult to choose his ability over someone else's. So yeah, I'm not convinced. I would like to see him
general
played, but
consensus.
I mean,
Low.
I think low C. I think there is utility
Yeah.
there. I just
Yeah.
don't think it's great.
Yeah.
I don't think it's terrible.
I think
Because
it's
sure, those
how wide it can be.
yeah.
Yeah, and maybe, and like I said with Revan, he's good, but yeah, C. I don't think he's useless.
No, I don't
No.
think he's useless
No.
because there is merit in those
Well,
early game moves and
well,
potentially
he-
just like controlling. But
And he's Imperial. You give him an extra plus.
Yeah.
you could, yeah, again, that's quite a slow way of playing. But he's got a shield and a +1, so maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You could, yeah, and you use him to hit units rather than bait. I don't know.
I
yeah.
mean, you can pair him up with the other Grand Inquisitor and ready him again.
True, just start taking out units.
But
yeah.
then, you know, you do that and he'll die the same phase probably because he gets killed. So
Because he just well, the first hit's free because he's got a shield.
that's true.
So
First
there
it's
is
free. You
know,
then tap him with the other Grand Inquisitor. He takes 2 damage. You
And
attack
then you
someone
die.
with the -2. He survives
you
that
live.
maybe, but then you
Yeah.
can't ready him again with the Grand Inquisitor because he will
Yeah,
die if you do
he'll
that.
die.
So, yeah,
yeah, it's a tough one.
not a fan.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um,
So
let's talk a bit of light side because we've been doing the dark side for a while.
Mm.
I think we should talk about Kanan Jarrus,
Oh yeah.
the vigilance,
I'm
heroism.
so excited.
This guy's got 4 traits, which is sick. Force, Jedi, Rebel, and Spectre.
Yeah.
Juicy. He's a 6-drop, 3/6. As an action, he can give a shield token to a creature or Spectre unit. You have to pay 1 for that. Then when he deploys, it's like on attack, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh no,
he-
it's while you control another
yeah,
creature.
he's shielded,
Oh yeah.
and whilst you control a creature or Spectre unit, he gains +2/+2, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
What?
5/8.
A great leader for me.
Yeah,
Love
I
him.
mean,
Yeah,
This-
the potential there is massive. How many Spectre units do
Ooh.
like so far are there?
Ooh.
Because it's still quite a smallish number.
So you got,
There's
like,
a lot of
2
creatures
ghosts.
Yeah.
coming out.
Yeah.
You got a Hera.
You
like
could play
3
it with,
Sabines. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a
if you
few.
play it with the leader Hera. You don't pay any aspect penalty on Spectre cards as well.
so you
Yeah.
can
That's
play all of
smart.
them. Yeah, I don't know if there's enough Spectre cards for that to really be worth it. I definitely think creatures.
The creatures,
Do
I
both.
think there's
Yeah,
loads.
Why wouldn't you, right? Because I
Mm.
think a lot of the creatures in this new set are good, and I also just think him as a leader's a pretty good. I mean, you can shield a Spectre or creature. Isn't there
Yeah.
the Spectre unit when it's like upgraded, it passes it on to like other Spectre units? Am I getting that right?
Oh, the ghost.
Oh yeah. Ghost. Yeah.
When the ghost
Um,
is upgraded, it gets Sentinel and it gives its keywords to other Spectres. So
Without-
So, you know,
without
that's
the
a
leaders-
dangerous combo.
Without the leaders, 15 Spectre.
Yeah,
And one is
it's not amazing,
one's an event.
Mm.
but
But-
you know, creatures as
Yeah,
well as
creatures as well.
Also, it's a rebel, so you could do
Yeah,
him and Leia and Spectre.
just about to
Oh.
say,
Yeah.
Rebel deck would be good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I'd build him out probably as a creature deck just because there are a lot of creatures, and also there's what's the guy's name? Is it Malakili? He's like Jabba the
Yeah,
Hutt's
it was
Beast
that.
Hunter or Beast Tamer,
Yeah,
Oh,
Beast
yeah.
Master, whatever it is. Him and Kanan together, just running up all the biggest creatures in the
Mhm.
game would be insane. You could get a crate dragon out on like 6 resources or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
35 creatures.
There you go. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Kanan,
I mean,
creature, Spectre
And then
deck.
you flesh it out with like
I mean,
here
that's
and there
yeah.
stuff you need, and
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. That's not including events and upgrades that you might want to put in. That
exactly.
yeah.
You could do. You could have. Yeah, you could have a decent deck it there.
I think.
Mhm.
you
There
could.
was
And
there
it's
was
not a
a
It's a
point-
good
force
leader.
action either. It's just a resource, so you don't have to worry about putting in force units. You can just really go in on the creatures. Bendu's another one. The old one and the
Bendu,
new
yeah.
one. Both Bendus
Yeah.
are crazy, and they're
Yeah.
both creatures. And they're
Yeah,
really good for
I think
Kanan.
this. Yeah, I think this leader has a lot of potential, and I think it could be really powerful as well.
Yeah.
I would be happy to put it in like high B or low A. I think there's enough goodness in those cards for it to work. I think.
Yeah, creatures are strong. I think,
Creatures
in
are strong.
general.
Their stats
Yeah,
are
And
really
I feel
good.
like they're kind
It's
of underused at
There's
the moment.
Bogdo, that another one that's crazy.
Oh, Ogdo
yeah,
Bogdo.
big
Oh,
boy.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
good card. And then there's
Is
that,
that-
there's that other, it's like a cunning event that's like scratch attack or something like that. It's like a creature attacks and give it +4, something stupid like that. So yeah,
Yeah,
creatures are
I
getting
mean-
a good support this set, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, they are.
I think it's about time. It's about time.
A or B.
I would put him A under Kylo.
I would put A as well.
Yeah, we'll go with A.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah, Kanan. So good. I'm definitely building a Kanan deck.
Yeah, nice.
Mm.
Right, what next? We're over halfway
How-
there now.
How about
Yay.
Morgan Elsbeth?
Mm.
I like her. I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because you could really go all out on like maybe 2 keywords and just like flood it.
I mean, if you've got an Imperial deck, Imperial.
Yeah, so action, choose a friendly unit, attack this phase, play a unit from your hand that shares a keyword with the chosen unit. It costs 1 less.
Yeah,
it's good.
I think it's got a lot of potential.
I mean,
Yeah.
imagine someone's just running Sentinels and shielded only,
Yeah,
and everything's just
mean,
coming out cheap, and you're
That's
like, oh
how
my
I would
god.
play it.
yeah.
So
I
annoying.
think it was going to be a very tough deck to get through.
Yeah.
I was thinking Morgan Elsbeth with possibly Third Sister.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, that's such a
Hidden.
good idea.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, oh, if I was going, maybe.
Yeah, because then you're guaranteeing your
Mm.
units are obviously going to stick because they can't be attacked, and you can then play them out a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I think that's a really cool combo. I think there is potential here for sure.
So you play something blank, but then you keep the hidden one and you play that after, I guess, right?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
assume
Yeah.
so. Yeah,
That's-
you
that's
wouldn't
great.
give it away. It would be in your
That's
hand.
really good. I like that
So
a lot.
yeah, I think Morgan, she's probably one I'm gonna give a try with.
What does
Yeah.
she do when she deploys? She's a
She's
3/6, right?
5/3/6 on attack. The next unit you play this phase costs 1 less if it shares a keyword with a friendly unit. So essentially, you just
So-
want as many keywords out as possible, and
Yeah.
then when she deploys, you can just play something for 1 less. So I think there's a lot of potential there. I really do.
I think like endgame that could work really well because
Hmm.
obviously it's crunch time. You want to get some good ones out. You'll be choosy with it.
It
Mhm.
lets you play a
If
few
you
more
plan it-
Sentinels, right? You can go wide on Sentinels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raid as well. Overwhelm. There's like. I think
She'd
there's,
be
yeah,
great
there
with
are some
Maul
really
actually
fun
as well
combos.
then, because Maul gives
Yeah.
every unit Overwhelm.
Every unit overwhelm. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah,
That's a good one.
it's pretty good. I think
I would
I'm
say-
excited to see decks with Morgan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
would
like
probably
it.
go like a high B, I think. A high B or a low A. But I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think she's benefiting a lot from not having to use the Force or pay resources. That's actually
Agreed.
I just realized
Really
that. And that's
powerful.
actually great.
Just as an action.
I still like Barris a bit more for me.
Mhm.
Okay. So it can go behind if everyone's good with that.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it's a fair assessment. I mean, I could definitely see a world where she goes up to an A tier. I think depending on how people start building those decks, I think there is some fun.
I think you have to get the pairing really right.
Yeah, and I think that'll take a bit of time to really refine. But
hmm
I think it can work. I really do.
I think the only thing the thing that would have improved it for me was if it just said play a card, and if it didn't say from your hand, so that you could use smuggle and piloting as well.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
You can't use either of those with her.
That would be cool.
If it had that, that'd be great because you could
Yeah,
use cheap
that
pilots
would be
and
good.
cheap smuggle and cheap everything else. That would be insane.
That would be
Maybe it'd be-
wild. Yeah.
Maybe they thought it would be too cheap because, pilots,
Maybe.
some of them are cheap.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Play them for 0. Some of them.
Another one I'm excited about is this set's Ahsoka Tano.
Mm.
Yes.
So
Love a
annoying.
Sentinel.
Lots
Yeah.
of Sentinel.
Loads more Sentinels.
I like her and maybe Luke.
Shielded Sentinels. Ah,
Horrible.
awful.
That is horrible.
Yeah, I think she's good.
Yeah. So as an action,
Okay.
use the Force. Give a friendly unit Sentinel for this phase, which I think, again, if you can generate the Force token, that's pretty good because you're guaranteeing a Sentinel every phase.
Yeah, with all these leaders being so force oriented, I feel like it must not be that hard to generate a force
Nah.
token.
I think it would
The bases
Because
make it
It would
quite
be
easy,
it would
right?
be impossible. Like you
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to play any of these actions.
It'd be interesting to see if you have both leaders needing the Force.
Mm,
How
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said,
Or you just double her with Chewie, so there's just Sentinel.
Guaranteed.
I think
Yeah,
it was the end of Boba Fay 11's question was also will 2 Force leaders make it too hard to get their abilities off consistently? And I think yes. I think it's going to be incredibly difficult to generate 2 Force tokens, and you might like the utility of having a choice to either like deploy something a bit early or give something Sentinel, but to have 2 leaders to use that, I think it falls into the same category as having 2 leaders that cost a resource to use their action. It is very slow, and
It's
I don't know
true.
if it's necessarily worth it. I mean, sure, you could use the Force token as long as you've got it on one of them, and then you've probably got a unit that can attack and generate it from a base. So you can probably do them both. Whether or not that's worth it, I don't know. I think you'll get more use out of a leader that can use it and a leader that has an action that either you pay for or just as an action.
I mean, it
mean-
might change the whole dynamic of the Twin Suns game. We might find ourselves just a lot more happening because you
Agreed.
need, sometimes there are games where nothing happens and everyone's just really guarded and no one attacks anyone, and you're like, okay, it's just bases. So this might actually really get everyone moving in a different way.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, if you're encouraged to just attack more to generate those tokens, you're going to attack more. So I think it definitely adds a very cool layer of depth to the game again.
Yeah, I mean, once we play with the cards, we'll know.
Yeah.
we'll
We'll
know
know
more.
exactly. Yeah. As for Ahsoka, whereabouts would you put her?
Sentinel's
Well,
so
the fact that
powerful,
you can
isn't
put,
it?
the fact that you can put it on anyone as well, because
Yeah.
obviously Chewie is limited.
Yeah.
I think she's hella strong.
Except
I
that
would-
you
I
need
would-
to have a unit available. Whereas with Chewie, you get to play it and give the Sentinel.
And give it.
So
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
if you're playing against an Ahsoka deck, you know that you need to try and make sure that you kill the problem unit that could become the Sentinel before it does, so that at least when the other unit becomes a Sentinel, it's easier to tackle.
But is that a good tactic? You're focusing on their units and just
True.
not
I
really
suppose you're still
thinking
doing what they
about their
want.
base.
Yeah. God, it's tough.
It's
a
tough.
good
It
ability.
is tough. I don't
It
want
is
to
good.
do too many bees because I feel like that's just us being
mean-
lazy.
No, a lot of
it's
the
an A,
leaders
it's an
are
A.
pretty good, to be fair. So
Yeah. I think the only downside then for me is that I wish she had a bit more health.
Yeah. Maybe.
But other than that, and maybe also like the keywords. She doesn't have
Yeah,
Jedi,
words up.
yeah, it doesn't have any. Yeah.
which is fair
Yeah, it's
enough.
true.
She doesn't have even like not Underworld, but I don't know. Even I'd like to see the like Rebel Ahsoka
Yeah.
at some point as well.
Yeah, because obviously she's like military trained.
Yeah, like she when she's Fulcrum, she helps out the rebels. It's like when
Yeah.
are we gonna get the Rebel tag Ahsoka? I don't know, or are they just not
Yeah,
gonna do
this
that?
is her from TV show, right?
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
yeah.
it looks like it's
This is where she's fighting Balin, right? In that background.
Looks
art?
like it. The art.
yeah, it is. So
Yeah,
at that point,
it
she's
is.
not really with the rebels, but
No,
No.
she's not.
um,
All right, well, where are we putting her?
I think Sentinel is strong. I think it should be an A. I think
Reckon.
Personally, yes, I would agree.
seems like such a headache.
Yeah. I'm happy with A. I think it is just
Yeah,
inherently a great
behind
ability.
Kanan, I
Yeah.
Behind
Yeah,
Kanan?
yeah.
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 Yeah, that's good. Nice.
Nice.
I love how A is just flooded with blue.
Just, yeah, for real.
Vigilance is just
Yeah.
good this
Oh wow! And then B
It
is. I
very
feel like there's
good.
a pattern emerging.
Yeah.
somehow.
Alright. who should
Any
choose
other
next?
leaders anyone's excited about out of the rest of them?
I think Qui-Gon is
Uh,
sick.
Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Qui-Gon?
So sick.
Yeah,
Let's talk about Qui-Gon.
because what is his thing? It's
So,
quite long.
You use the Force and exhaust him. You return a friendly non-leader unit to its owner's hand, and then play a non-villainy unit that costs less for free.
Yeah.
Mm.
You could attack.
Oh,
It gets damaged. You bring it back,
Yep.
and then you play a card. I mean, you are then going to play a card behind Curve, but
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you
Still
are
good, though.
in the next phase, you can bring that card straight back out again.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, so
Yeah.
what I love about him is if you've got any cards that have amazing when played abilities, you get to do them twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to
that's
double
what
down
you
on
would
them.
focus on. You would just fill your deck with when played as
Mhm.
much
Yeah.
as possible.
And so,
Yeah.
in particular for him, the card that synergizes really well with that strategy is Qui-Gon's Ether Sprite, because it lets you trigger the next when played twice.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
you could do the when played 3 times, even
Oh,
more
that
if you
could
keep
get
it popping.
dangerous. Yeah. I mean-
in the space of 2 turns, which is crazy.
that's like such a small chance though, but it can happen.
Well, yeah, it could happen, and I think
It
that's a
can
really
happen.
powerful ability. I mean, the fact that you could potentially even cycle Sentinels is kind of wild. They could get
Yeah.
attacked, live, bring
Oh,
it back to your hand,
crap,
or the other
yeah.
Sentinel. Like, yeah, there's a lot of fun builds I think you could run with Qui-Gon. I'm definitely excited to play around with that leader ability.
Where would we put it? Oh, this is hard. This is getting hard.
Oh, with Republic as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I think he's really strong, and not to mention his stats are like perfect for what I'd want for a
Yeah,
6
they are
drop.
perfect.
Yeah.
A 4/7
Yeah.
is great. He's like
Wait, when
ready
does
to
he
receive a
come out?
lightsaber. He's ready to
6,
just
yeah.
tank it for a bit.
yeah.
Are we thinking S?
I don't know if it's S.
Oh,
I think it's
wow.
Henry wants it. Henry's thinking S.
I'm thinking he's at least better than Kylo, because
Yeah.
Kylo's like very obvious what he's
Yeah.
doing. You can
Yeah.
deal with Kylo
Yeah.
in a number of ways.
Yeah.
Can you
Whereas
deal
this
with what
is a bit
Qui-Gon's going
more-
to do? You don't know.
No.
You really
no,
don't know.
can't.
It can come out, like any unit that's less than the one that's bounced back can come out, and I think that is a lot more fun. And like you say, if you can play around with the when played abilities, I think you could get some really nasty
Mhm.
combos going. I'll be hesitant to put him in S, but definitely the top of A.
Yeah, he does kind of fall in line with the fun thing with Kylo.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
more cunning, which
Yeah.
obviously he is. So
powerful.
and he's cunning. So
And he's cunning.
I think
he's
above Kylo.
yeah, I think that's fair. I think it might be somewhat inconsistent in Twin Suns, just because you're never guaranteed to
that's
see
true.
those cards. But I think just his ability's good. So yeah, high A for me.
Yeah. Top of A.
Top of A.
Do it.
Nice.
Crazy character. Right. 5 left. Home stretch.
How about
Shall-
we do
Go on.
set 5 Obi?
Obi.
Ooh.
Okay.
Obi's so many Obis out there, and here's another.
First off,
This
the
is-
artwork
this is
is nuts. He's got such a pointy jaw. It's like so sharp.
Yeah, it really is.
It is pretty sharp,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure they trim it that way in like
Yeah, it's like
for second and third maybe.
he's like based off of the Clone Wars animated series Obi-Wan
Mhm.
with
Yeah,
the like armor
yeah.
on as well.
Was
Mhm.
there
Yeah.
was there a question about this Obi-Wan?
There was.
So let's read his card. So as an action, use the Force, give an experience token to a unit without an experience token on it.
Mhm.
Now we got a question from Matasinal. I butchered that.
Apologies.
But they said, guys, do you think Finn from Shadows works with Obi-Wan
Alright, let's
from
see.
set 5?
Finn.
Was it too slow of a combo for Twin Suns?
Finn does, as an action, defeat a friendly upgrade on a unit if you do give a shield token to that unit.
I don't think
I
it's
think-
too slow.
Do you not? Do you think
No.
it works?
Because because what are your opponents going to do? They're going to waste their unit's health to get rid of your shield? Fine. That's what the shield was for anyway.
That's
really.
what it's for. Yeah.
I
I mean,
if they don't do it, you get the benefit of giving your unit an experience, or like,
yeah,
and I suppose with Obi-Wan, you can choose whether or not you want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the tough thing is that you have to use the Force to then gain an experience, to then get rid of that experience, to then add shield. I think it might be long-winded. to answer his question. Their question.
I think it is a good combo. However, I think
It works.
it works. It definitely works. I just think Finn as a leader loses a lot of momentum the further you get into the game. I think it's going to be a lot harder to pull off that ability. And even when Finn deploys on 5, he's a 4/6 on attack, defeat a friendly upgrade on a unit if you do give a shield token to it. I don't think that's going to be that useful that far into a game. I don't know. I mean,
the best thing it's for is removing like entrenched or frozen
if you
carbonite.
get caught with like perilous
bounties.
position or something.
Yeah, that's the best case scenario for it.
Yeah, and I just don't think there's enough of that played consistently across our games or across many games that would make it worth playing Finn. I think Obi-Wan as a card and a leader, I think pretty good. I think that's strong.
I think so too. It's on par with Ahsoka as Sentinel, I think.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a little less, but
yeah.
I mean, the fact you can just give a unit an extra attack and HP, I think is just good. It obviously it doesn't get Sentinels, which would be good for defense, but I think just buffing up your units, knowing that any unit is going to get an extra attack and health, I think is pretty good.
Yeah, it feels very much like they want you to look at him as the token guy. So pair him up with Rex, make all your tokens a bit bigger, then everything Rex does is going to make your tokens bigger, and you're just going to end up with like loads of 5/5 tokens that are a problem. But
and he's Republic.
I
think he's a really good leader. I would be keen to build a deck around Obi-Wan. I'm going to say A tier. I think it's just good. I think it.
Really?
I think his ability is great, and even when he deploys with his traits, a 5/3/6, you could probably buff him up with upgrades as well. I think it's a good leader. I think you've got a lot of good pairings with him. Like you say with Rex, I think tokens should never be underestimated. If you can bring out the tokens, I mean, we've seen it in our games.
Yeah, we
Even
have.
health, they don't die. They do a lot of damage, and this just makes them an extra damage. Like gives them an extra damage. So
yeah,
I think it is a good leader. I would be. I mean, I'm happy to move around depending on your thoughts as well.
What do you guys think?
Alex?
Yeah, I was unsure only because you can only give obviously one experience token.
Yeah.
And he's coming out as a 3/6 is a little weak, but Steve has sold him a bit with Rex as well. Like you said, you start having 3-4 clones. Yeah, I mean, or
It would have been better if you could also give him an experience token.
The experience, yeah.
It seems bizarre that you can't. Like, maybe not. Yeah, like when he deploys.
Because even Rey can do that. She can give herself an experience token when she attacks.
So that's the only thing lacking, I think.
He's almost there just for his ability to just buff up your other units, and then he deploys just sort of as, I'll probably get one extra experience on a unit, and then I've got a 3/6 on the board for a bit of damage. But
a soldier, I guess. But I'm just trying to think what you could, like him and Padme could work well.
Yeah, they could. But then I feel like there are probably better matches.
Yeah.
I'd maybe put him with Luke, so you've also made them shielded.
Shield
I
them,
was
give them experience.
going to say Luke would be a good pairing.
Or you with Chewie.
Yeah.
So that your Sentinels are even more annoying for a bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you probably can't get rid of the Sentinel straight away. Yeah.
You could do with Ahsoka Tano and
and just go full.
Yeah, God.
If every time you change a Sentinel, you just give it an experience.
Yeah, if you can generate all those Force tokens, why not? Like, go for it. Yeah, I mean,
I definitely think it'll be better with the right pairing. So like someone that gives a shield, someone that gives something else.
Or it's
adds
like
a little bit.
maybe good with like, because some of the Mandalorians are quite good at doing more with experience.
Yeah.
So maybe you could pair him up with
I
like,
was
Bo-Katan.
experimenting with that today.
Yeah.
Or even Kanan or Kanan.
Oh yeah.
He could work with as well.
Oh yeah, that's actually
true.
good. Yeah. Yeah, he's got
So
he's got a lot of ways to work. You know, the only thing that I'm comparing him to someone like Tarkin, where it's
exactly
easy. You know, yes, you have
You
to
have to
build
pay one,
only
though.
Imperial. You do have to pay one, but with Obi-Wan you have to use the Force. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
maybe it's kind of the same.
Yeah, maybe.
I suppose you're not
Right.
playing behind curve with it,
No.
but yeah, it is that whole how do you manage the Force token, which we'll find out obviously as we play. But yeah, I think it's strong. I mean, maybe A's a bit too much, so maybe the top end of B.
I think top end. I think it's better than Barasofi.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, I kind of do.
Like, all I'm
But you're
saying
not
is,
playing events as often, are you?
I would with
It
Barris.
depends. Well, yeah,
All I'm saying is, seasoned fleet admiral does what Obi-Wan does, but better.
that's
Oh,
true.
Christ, yeah,
That's
you're
true.
right. You're all right.
You're not wrong.
Ridiculous card.
But that is one card
I
out of
think
80. So, you know, whereas
Yeah,
Obi-Wan, you
yeah.
can have him the whole game.
Yeah, which I think there's value to that. I
Yeah,
think,
that's true.
I think it's pretty good.
All right. So we'll put him at B. I think, for the record, he should be a C. Like,
Really?
just
Yeah.
above Revan.
I am actually kind of thinking that as well.
Really?
I'm okay for him to be a B.
Yeah, a B's fine.
Yeah.
I'll settle on a B.
All
Cool.
right.
Straight to the top
Oh
of
wait,
B.
There
but
it is.
wait, maybe not top.
Well, okay. Whereabouts?
Mid B. Mid
I
B.
feel like behind Morgan Elsbeth. I think Morgan Elsbeth
Okay.
is better.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
all right. What do we have left?
We got some fun ones when they're all villainy. Let's do Third
God.
Sister, because we kind of talked about her before.
Oh yeah, I would pair her with Morgan Elsbeth. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third
I
Sister.
think it's a really good idea.
So this is introducing the new keyword, and it's a evergreen keyword as well. So that means that hidden is like, it's not like smuggle and it's not like piloting. This is a keyword that we're going to see over and over again in every set going forward. So it joins the ranks of ambush, sentinel, restore, raid. So hidden's the new keyword, and basically when you play the unit, it can't be attacked for the phase that it's played unless it gains sentinel. So
her and War Juggernaut.
yeah, you just
Or
need to be able to
Cobainus.
like remove it.
Oh my god. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
God,
Ordinals or something.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ,
that's so good.
that is
That's
funny.
so good.
I would
And
say
you
that we
might
usually
act-
find a way to deal with War Juggernaut.
No,
despite
but
that.
you're so sneaky. You get the you do it, you get the initiative, and then you're like, I'm just waiting.
Mm. So
there's-
I like her, just for the fact that she's the only one that really introduces hidden as like a deck archetype as a leader. Like, it's quite unique. Her stats are okay. Like, they're obviously very aggro stats, almost like Kylo from set 2.
Yep.
I don't think she's amazing. I think she's like that
No.
kind of leader that's just there to introduce people to the idea of hidden.
Yeah, agreed.
It's not meant to like blow your mind, but I think hidden can
But
be
you
really
know, like-
powerful.
Yeah.
You know, you get her out, and you can do you can really do some damage. You know, 5 is good.
Yeah, you could put a
Especially
lightsaber
since
on
she
her and
can't-
she's
she
suddenly
doesn't-
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the fact that it could be that last round where the leaders are deploying, you know,
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
going to deploy, you have to then use an event or something to get rid of her if you can, because nothing can attack her, and like you say, play an upgrade on her, suddenly it is a difficult unit to deal with.
She does
She's
sadly
sounding
suffer
like a-
from the same problem for me as Cal, in that you can defeat her with open fire, take
Yeah.
down.
Open
Yeah,
fires.
true.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is that she's not meant to be strong. She's
No.
meant to be strong, but not healthy.
Yeah.
That's the wrong word.
Strong
Do you know
but
what?
not healthy.
Do you know what she's funnily enough good at is if you wait a bit, you bring her out like when you play a Snoke or something. If you give Snoke
Ooh.
hidden, most people can't really deal with it then that phase.
Can't-
That's kind of a done deal.
I feel like
Yes.
there's so much potential
Yeah.
with
pretty
so
fun.
many combinations.
Like, yeah, it's not the most technically impressive or mechanically complex leader. It's just very simple, but
Mhm.
I don't think you could build a bad deck with her.
No.
I think a C, because
Yeah.
she's not great,
Nah,
but she'll be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Maybe like what after Kit Fister or before?
I want to say
I'd
higher
say-
than Kit Fisto,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so would I.
just because
I
Kit
think it's
Fisto has the
just
potential
nothing
to
new.
keep
flop.
a unit alive, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I was leaning low B, but
Oh,
if
yeah.
you go
Low
C,
B?
she's better than Kit Fisto.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Revan should be there, but
We can move Revan if you want.
We will
No, no,
move Revan.
but you can put. I'm trying to think whether she. I mean, she's. It's weird because she's kind of. She's kind of good for what she does, but she's not. Like she's a support card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
But you're not using the force for her action.
True. You can just
Yeah.
do it. You're not paying.
Yeah.
It's just there.
And there's a lot of times where someone will play a card, and you try and get rid of it before it's even ready.
hmm
Yeah, it's true. I hate that.
Yeah, she could be paired well with a lot of cards as well.
Agreed.
Yeah, there's
Agreed.
like, and there's no restriction with her action either. It's not like, oh, play a
No.
unit that costs 5 or less,
Mhm.
or
Yeah,
play a
exactly.
unit. It, you know, you have to pay 1 as well. It's just
Yeah.
whatever you want to do, it's hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is
do
nice.
do a C after Kit Fisto, I think.
There we go.
Yeah. Nice.
3 left.
Why don't we
Should
talk
we,
about Snoke?
Let's do Snoke. Yeah, Snoke's weird.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah,
And
Snoke's
it's nothing
weird.
to do with his face.
Oh,
The opposite of an elephant in that it's kind of like missing, and it goes more of a
Onwards.
Okay. Right, so action pay 1, give an experience token to the unit with the most power among friendly units.
Yeah. This is
It's in-
bizarre.
yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's a bit like weird.
Yeah,
Super
I
weird.
don't know if I'm convinced. I think. So you
I mean,
have to
it's
play your
weird that you
villainy
have to
card.
pay 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you're paying an extra one. So you're going to be playing behind curve. So you're going to play a lower cost unit in the hopes that you can then give it 1 experience. But then the next turn, you're going to probably try to do the same thing, but your units are going to be outmatched by what your opponents are already playing. So I don't really see the value in how that's going to work.
like why wouldn't you just play
Um,
better units?
Yeah, because you'll be playing lesser units to try and get an extra damage, and I just don't. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. I mean, maybe there's an argument to pair him up with like Gar Saxon, and you
Yeah.
get that extra little bit. But again, I don't know if it's enough. I just
I mean,
don't-
his stats are pretty good.
They are.
4/7. He comes out when? When does he come out?
six,
Six.
six,
So
four,
it's-
7.
So that's
I'm very happy
alright.
with the stat line. Yeah.
Mm.
And when he comes out, I think he's probably more useful deployed.
Definitely. If the fact is just on attack, and you can give that experience token to
Yeah.
a unit, sure.
Yeah.
Again, I
And does
just
that mean? Oh, it's among friendly units. It's not
among friendly
him.
units.
I
Yeah.
mean, like
so-
again, like why can't that include him?
Yeah.
I just feel like they're lacking something. If you would just include the actual
Mm.
So what
unit
does his
itself,
what does his leader side say exactly?
give an experience
Um,
token to the unit with the most power among friendly units. Well, villainy.
Among- yeah.
So it could
And
be
you have
him
to pay 1 for it.
on his,
No, yeah,
on his
no,
unit side.
On his unit side, no, it's just on attack, and it's
Oh,
friendly
sorry.
villainy unit. So I guess if he is the strongest, but
Yeah.
I don't think he will be with 4.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
he is, that's a problem for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It really
Hey,
is.
we've all been there, okay?
You could play a big unit with Third Sister. It's hidden.
Mhm.
It gets buffed.
The thing is, like,
you could,
wouldn't
you
it
know,
just
if you're-
spiral? Like, wouldn't the
Yeah.
the unit that gets the first experience probably end up just continually getting the experience?
Being the best
that's
unit.
True. Does
I don't
that is
know.
that how it works?
So you're just gonna end up like
Yeah.
Voltroning a unit and
With just one that's just.
yeah.
One
So
that's
it's like
huge.
seasonal fleet admiral when Henry plays it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know.
You know, playing with Revan, you just monster out a unit.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe there's room there for
Maybe.
it. I
Like,
think,
yeah, it's not.
Double,
not
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
Double XP is kind of fun.
yeah.
I like
mean,
that he's
for
first order
you,
at least. Like a bit more first order support is good.
That's nice. That's
So
really
like
nice.
Phasma
Yeah.
gets a bit better.
Mhm.
Like all the Hux gets a bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at face value, I don't think it's very good. I think there is room to play around with though. I don't think it's D tier because I think you can get value out of it depending on who
Yeah, I
you
think
pair
so.
him with, and at least his deployed side is somewhat useful still. So I think bottom of C. I don't think.
I think he's better than
He's-
Kit though.
Do you think?
Ooh, I don't. Maybe, maybe not.
Wait, he's better than who?
Kit Fisto.
Kit Fisto.
I think he is because all you need to do is make sure you have enough resources to pay
Hmm.
and that you have a unit that's villainy, which you probably will.
Yeah.
So
I suppose it could be like end of turn if you've got a resource left. It's like I get a free experience because I'm not going to use that one resource anywhere else. So yeah, maybe there's a bit more utility there.
Original Boba, maybe.
oh yeah, that's a
Yeah,
shout.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
honestly think if we put Obi-Wan there, he should be next to Obi-Wan.
Really.
Yeah, because it's almost the same. It's better actually because you can double up on experience.
Yeah, I think paying a resource might be worse though because you're playing behind curve. The force token at least lets you play on par with everyone else. I guess it's green, so there's the potential of ramping as well. So
Yeah.
maybe there's room there for him to be a bit better.
Well, what's it gonna be? Come on, someone decide.
I think he's around Kit Fisto levels for me.
Yeah.
On him.
Apart from the fact that he's a 4/7, which is good stats.
Yeah.
So that
Okay.
maybe puts him up a bit.
I'm happy to put him ahead of Kit Fisto.
Cool.
All right.
Yep. Done.
Nice.
Let's do Mother Talzin.
Mm,
All right.
Great
Nice
looking
sisters.
card.
yeah, really cool. I bet the showcase looks
Oh,
very
I
nice.
bet
Oh.
it's gonna look great.
Yeah.
Action, use the force. Give a unit -1/-1 for this phase. And now I think we can all agree.
Garbage. Absolute garbage.
It doesn't make any sense.
This
I
might
know,
be
it
useful
never
on
does,
turn
does it?
one. Like,
Yeah.
I
So-
don't know why you would ever play this leader thinking that that's a good. Like, it genuinely makes absolutely no sense.
Deployed at 5 and 3/7.
Sure,
I mean,
on attack, give a unit -1 for this phase. This
Yeah.
might be our second D tier leader. I just
so
don't.
too. I think as a general consensus, we do not agree with the -1/-1.
It's not powerful enough.
Just
Yeah.
feels useless.
The
I
thing
think
is,
if you could like stack it and somehow make it more as the game goes on, but the fact it's just a -1/-1, I don't really see any scenario where using the force to give something one less attack and health. Like, sure, maybe you can kill a big unit with it, but is that a good use of your whole turn? Probably not.
Yeah.
no, not for like Ray does it better because Ray's
Yeah.
his actual damage is last.
It's actual damage.
Whereas
Yeah.
this just ends at the end of the
This-
phase. Like,
It's the
fizzles.
worst leader.
I think it might be. It's maybe
Dave,
the coolest art
put it-
and the
put it
worst
in.
leader.
Yeah.
Put it,
Such a shame.
lock it in.
Like,
It is.
I was
It really
hoping
is.
that with her there'd be something to do with like discard pile recursion because she can like bring stuff back from the
Yeah.
dead. You
I know, and I was.
That's what I thought they would
Wait,
go
is
with.
there is there a dead like Night Sister? Like the undead sisters?
Yeah, well they've got like the shade or something they're calling it in the game, but they
So
have.
it would have been cool if like there was something she would do with that, like bringing things back to life, like you said.
But they brought in the undead tag.
There is an
set.
undead tag. Yeah.
Oh,
So, like,
what? Oh.
They're fine with bringing it up, but for some reason Mother Talzin doesn't get access. Just
Yeah.
She has
baffling
unlocked
design.
that feature.
Not a fan, but
I think
Alright,
it is a
well,
waste
last
of this
card.
leader.
Darth Maul,
Darth Maul.
iconic, absolute icon.
I love the art.
It
That's
is beautiful.
exactly.
Simple.
Yeah. When I
that
first
is-
saw it, I thought, have they just used the still from the film or something? 'Cause
It
it's,
just
like,
took the
bang
footage,
on.
literally. Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
it's a great illustration.
Action: use the Force, deal 1 damage to a unit and 1 damage to a different unit. Kind of similar to his unit card from the previous set. I
Yeah,
think pretty
So, yeah.
pretty okay. I mean, you can distribute 2 damage.
it's
I don't think it's
pinging.
terrible.
Shield.
I think there's loads of leaders
nightmare.
that you can match with it. So
Yeah, I agreed. A lot you can match with it. Shield's worst nightmare. Absolutely, you can just knock down everyone's shields. When he deploys, he's deploys on 6, 5/6 on attack. Does the
stat.
same thing. Do 1 damage to a unit, 1 damage to a different unit. I think pretty solid. I don't
It,
think
like,
it's
matches his unit, doesn't it? In
Yeah.
terms of stat line,
Yeah.
except the unit comes out on a 5/6.
yes
On a 5. So
on a 5, and then it's a So I think it doesn't do anything special, but I think just a solid leader.
yeah,
yeah,
I think for what it
I
does
agree.
to shields is amazing. Yeah,
Mhm.
if someone's popping off with loads of shields, then that's great. If someone's popping off with loads of tokens, also great.
True. Yeah,
Um,
because it's any unit as well. So
Yeah, and it's helped by the fact that you get to pick, not just they
Yeah.
choose which unit gets it. Is really important for him, I'd say.
and it can be across players as well. It doesn't have to be the same player. So I think
yeah, that's true. You could
think
even
it's
do your
good.
own. Let's say you're making a grit deck. You could just target your own units.
or ramp.
yeah, it's true. That's how
Do it
I would
super laser
probably
tech.
play it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You could nuke your own super laser the turn you play it, and ramp
Yep.
way sooner than usual.
Pretty good.
He's good. He's not blowing my mind, but he's
No,
very
I don't think it's
workable.
gonna change. Yeah, it's a good. I think it's a good secondary leader to have in Twin Suns. I don't know if it would be a great like primary. Like I don't think you would pick him first and then pick another leader around him. You would usually
No,
pick a
it would
leader and
be
then look
the other
for
way around. Yeah.
yeah.
The one
Where does
downside
that
is
fall in our list?
One downside is that if they are if there's only one enemy unit and you have a unit, you have to damage your unit.
Right,
So-
because it has to hit
Yeah,
the units.
it's got
yeah.
to do 1 to a unit and 1 to a different one. So you can't
Yeah.
just say
But I
only
don't.
yours.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that being the biggest problem for Twin. So
Yeah.
It's rare to have just one unit out.
Yeah.
I think that would be a problem for Premier.
Where does he go?
I think
It's
he's
kind of.
maybe like
I think he's.
below Revan for
Yeah,
me.
go on. Really?
Yeah, it's just like not.
Mm.
It's not too exciting. It's just, yep, this works.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I would argue maybe just a bit higher, purely based off of the fact that last set introduced a lot of like cheap token generations, and or even the set before as well. And I think this is good at just getting rid of the droids and the TIE
True.
fighters.
Yeah.
Just as a baseline, I think I completely agree. There's nothing like outstanding about it, but the fact you could potentially deal with shields or deal with token units, I think it's good.
Alex really just is gonna fight for Revan.
I'm gonna. Well, listen, I might eat my
He's
words.
gonna
Look,
prove us
we can-
Bosses
wrong.
with Revan.
Once we put Maul
Right,
in,
so
we can readjust this if we feel like it's needs skewing.
yeah.
Nah, you leave
We could do
it,
like a
you
little
leave
sweep
it.
and be like, "Are we sure about this?"
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah,
so
put- what? Top C?
okay,
think so.
put it. Let's do
Or-
it.
See.
Yeah, top C.
I think
I
that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, there was a fair bit of indirect in this set, and he'd go well if they trigger it a lot, especially if you pair him over. It could be strong.
That's a lot of that's a lot of pings you'll be sending out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah.
Anyone want to change up anything before we seal this off?
I'm kind of happy with it. I mean, I can definitely see some movement when we start playing. I think there's a lot of room, like you say, with Revan. I think potentially there's some good combos you can pull. Again with Avar as well. I think she's great.
I was about to say, I think she could move higher, but
agreed.
I thought there'd be more S's. I'm surprised we only went with the one, but
wait,
really?
who else would you have put in S and R?
Mother Talzin.
Maybe. I mean,
Qui-Gon and Kylo, maybe.
Yeah, I get it. I do.
But I'm happy where he is.
If they went up to S, I would probably put Barriss in A as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we could lock it in and then dress it.
I
think. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Qui-Gon and Kylo will go up.
Yeah,
nice.
But we'll see.
Anyway,
we'll do this again. We'll recap it at the end of the set, just before set 6 comes out, I suppose, and see if we were right.
I'd like to hear what people think as well.
Yeah. Are we bang out of order?
Probably.
Or we
just
destroy
us in the comments.
Have a chance.
Yeah, Mother Talzin meta is coming in. It's coming in.
There's gonna be one person that just loves Talzin.
Yeah, if we're wrong,
die by the blade.
Let us know. We can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, send us a deck list.
Yeah, we'll try it.
We'll
try it out and run it and see how it does.
Yeah.
Any orange words.
Yeah, that's good.
There we go. So just Anakin alone at the top for the S rank. I can't wait to try Anakin. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I really hope the showcase looks sick for him.
Good. Yeah.
We might need to
him killing the younglings.
Oh, that would be insane. I hope so.
Oh god.
It's just that one kid's face. It's Master Skywalker. So many of them. Just that kid.
Oh, it's good.
Let us know what you think.
And about the video as well, and whether they want us to do kind of more of these videos or...
Yeah, did you enjoy this?
Maybe we'll rank all the 100 leaders that are already out or however many there are.
Please don't make us do that.
Or we could take a look at some of the actual cards. We could take a look at like our favourite cards from set 5 as well. Let us know in the comments if you'd find that interesting. Cards we think are going to be useful for Twin Suns and maybe even some of the other formats. That'd be great. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Check out some of our games. We'll have set 5 games as soon as we can. Obviously, we need to get the cards first. But once we do, we'll get some decks cooked up, we'll get some games filmed, and we can't wait to see what the Force Token, Hidden, all of that does for the game. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.